Hi Kulenga, this is looking really nice, really great job. The blocking is looking really nice. The weight, the timing, the poses, the inertia of the character is looking really nice. Just a few things to keep in mind, but yeah, great job. So first of all, just keep keep in mind that the arms are moving back and up instead of down and back. Probably because you rotated them that way when you created the poses. So maybe that's something that you want to fix in blocking uh, before going into splines, so you have that cleaned up. Um, then a few things, just I wouldn't have these two poses consecutive to each other. I think in blocking you don't really need that, and actually in blocking, if you have two consecutive poses on the blocking, in two frames, consecutive frames, it actually feels like odd, doesn't feel too nice. So I would just keep one of the poses and maybe remove this one for the blocking. Then this line of action actually, yeah, I mean, is quite nice. The only thing is maybe I would try to lean him forward a bit more, because right now he's jumping kind of like up more, and he's gonna jump quite further away. So maybe you want to lean him forward a bit more. Then here for this pose, see how the back is straight. See how in this character, even though the back is quite straight, you can see the curvature in his back. So actually in animation, we actually want to exaggerate that. So maybe that's a good opportunity to exaggerate the arc on the back. Because also remember, when we raise the legs, we rotate the hips this way. So that is gonna facilitate the hips rotating this way, creating that arc in the line of action of the character in the back. So that's also gonna create a lot of contrast between this pose in this line of action and then this pose having this line of action. So yeah, that would be one of the things. Then he jumps, he falls, jumps again. Then here also keep in mind the hips. See how the hips move down, then up a bit, up and down again. So it's actually a bit of a jittery feeling there. Just he wants to keep the inertia. So because he's gonna jump, he's building inertia, and the best way to build inertia is to have a fluid motion. So if he's jumping here, jump, fall, and then from here just boom. You want to have a nice fluid arc on the hips motion so that he's building the inertia, creating the squash anticipation and shooting up. So it's not, because if you have these up and downs, up and down again, it actually reduces the inertia, and it's gonna feel a bit jittery if you actually try to keep the same inertia having that motion. Then another thing, again, I wouldn't have two frames, one in two poses in two consecutive frames, because there's another thing here. If he's leaning forward, actually you want to create an arc in the head as well. So if he's leaning forward, you see the head here, boom, boom, boom. So right now the head is doing this, and then holding still for one frame. See here, this feels like the head is stuck on space, and you actually want to have this boom boom. Then maybe here he doesn't uh, raise that much yet, he's still leaning forward a bit, and then in here he's actually moving forward a bit more. So like you want to create that arc in the head, so up to the point he jumps, you want to have a nice fluid line of action in the head motion until he jumps. So if he's jumping this way, you want to have the previous poses creating that kind of arc, or maybe it's a bit further up, so something like this. So you want the head to be creating that nice line of action. Then he jumps. Great. Oh, probably the two poses, you create the two poses to switch from IK to FK, I'm assuming. Um, I mean, you can do that in the next phase, but I mean, it doesn't really matter if you have done it this one. It's just like visually, when you have two poses, consecutive poses in blocking, especially when it's early blocking, it doesn't feel too good. But I mean, it's not such a big deal, so don't worry. Another thing here, you see how the character is rotating? Great. See, you you have to track where his body is. So this is nice. This is a nice roll. He's really rolling onto the trash can. But the thing here is you can see how he's rolling, and then boom, he jumps straight. So the rolling has to continue. So if he's rotating in this way, you must keep the inertia of the rotation going. Because right now, see how the inertia completely stopped, and then for the next one, it's actually starting to rotate in the opposite direction, kind of a little bit. You see? So keep the rotation going. Boom, boom, boom. Because also you can see how um, here, boom, you 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 have all the inertia of this jump. Just boom, this is a huge inertia. Boom. So I would expect him to rotate a lot. Maybe like here, he's already kind of like almost in this angle. Sorry for the drawing, but yeah, like maybe not that much, but yeah, quite a lot. Like I would expect him to keep rotating a lot. And probably you wouldn't have this kind of exaggerated pose. Maybe you would have to have something more uh, subtle here. But yeah, then he falls. Then this pose here, see how when he falls, it feels like it stops a bit, and then he rolls. It would be nicer if he just drops and rolls instead of drop, stop, and roll. Because right now it feels like he stops the inertia here and then he goes for a roll like voluntarily instead of going for a roll because of the inertia. So I would actually remove this pose, and actually make something in between this. So you have this pose and this pose. So this, instead of this pose, have something in between where we see how he starts to lean forward, preparing for the roll. You know what I mean? So something like boom, and then he goes for a roll, and then he rolls, feeling quite good. And then here, the only thing is, see how he goes from the leg is back there, and then it's a contact pose, a straight leg. And I know this is blocking, but I'm missing this kind of pose where he's just pushing the leg forward, like it feels more like a kind of a run. Because right now it feels like he's then starts to walk fast, walk really fast. So he's running, jumping and stuff, and then he lands and starts to walk fast. Like it almost seems like he's pretending that he's not running. He wants to get somewhere fast, but he doesn't want to catch the attention of anyone. So it feels like instead of running, he just started walking really fast. So that's because I'm missing that kind of this pose, and also maybe creating a more of a high pose, more like a feeling of a boom, a bit of a more of a jump. Um, but yeah, that would be the main thing. See here how you have this pose. You have this pose, which is great, but I'm also missing here a bit more of a a high pose, where we see the character's hip just going up and down a bit more. So because he's jumping, like he's not jumping, he's running, he's trotting, so like boom, 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 a bit more up and down in the hips. And yeah, other than that, it's looking really, really nice. So keep up the great work, keep on going, and yeah, really looking forward to seeing where this goes.